So we're talking about the heavy tanks now, water tanks. There are only a few good heavy tanks in the game, in my opinion, right now. The meta of the tier 10 heavies. Currently, I don't have the Type 5 heavy, but that would be on here too if I had one. But I don't because the grind for it sucks. Anyway, so let's just talk about the mouse, all of them in a little bit of detail. It's not a tank review, obviously. I don't have time for that. Moss again. The Moss is a really good tank. This is the equipment load that you should have on it. There's really no reason to shoot AP at this thing because you can't pen another Moss with AP. So might as well just shoot a pure APC out of it because I mean APCR is just objectively better ammo than AP most of the time. So anyway, the Moss is good because it has really good Fern armor. It has a really good gun. It's very accurate. The tank is really slow, but it makes up for it with having the best armament and really insane good armor. Um, the Mouse is, for the most part, the best tier 10 heavy in the game right now. Mostly because it just does what a heavy tank is supposed to do the best. So that's nothing else really to it. TVD7 Heavy is a very good heavy tank, mostly because it has 340 average penetration on its heat ammunition, which is insanely good. Tanks like the 340 heat pen is able to go through the mouse's upper front, not upper front plate, but upper turret and side very reliably. 340 is, but 330 isn't. I mean, I don't know why it's like that, but 340 just seems to be more reliable against the mouse, just from personal experience. Also, it dumps its clip very quickly. It has a 2-second interclip, meaning that it can dump its entire magazine in like less than 6 seconds, which is really good. And yeah, it's pretty much it. It's got a really fast reload. It's got really fast interclip. Does damage really quickly. It has really good heat rounds. It's not very accurate and has really bad gun handling, but that's really not that important. Next to the IS-7, another very well balanced heavy tank. It drives really it goes quite quickly. It has really good turret armor. It has good side armor, good hull armor. I mean, it's not the best, but for the speed that it has very good armor. It also has a very punchy gun. The biggest downside to the IS-7 is its ammunition is really bad. 303 premium round pen is really bad. And 250 is, I think, some of the lowest pen in the game. I think the 113's got a little bit lower, but it makes up for it with its premium. But the IS-7 has EPCR as a premium round, which is good, but it's not good premium. So again, it's a trade-off. But for the most part, this tank is really good playing hold down. It's got pretty decent gun depression. It's got 6 degrees, which is not bad for a heavy tank with this much turret armor. Moving on to the 50B, a very fast heavy tank. This is probably one of my favorite tanks in the game if I had more credits, which I clearly don't. But anyway, this tank is really fun to play. Again, another one of those tanks that just the premium is just like the APCR premium is just objectively better than AP round. It's got 325 APCR pen. It's very accurate, and it has a 2.5-second interclip, so it's slower than TVD7 Heavy, but not by much. But this tank's main strength is that it has 10 degrees of gun depression, and it is insanely fast. It has a almost 20 specific power, and it does 65 kph forward, and it pretty averages about 60 on flat ground. Moving on to the 113, and again, the second, I'd assume, in my opinion, the second best heavy tank in the game. The 113, it's ludicrously, insanely good. This tank has insane DPM, 3300 DPM, pretty decent accuracy, 5 degrees of gun depression. It used to be worse, it used to be 2 or 3, but now it's got 5, and so it's able to use its insane turret armor now, which is 300 millimeters, and it has 120 millimeters of side armor, which means you can side scrape it, and as long as they don't shoot your upper plate right here, you can side scrape it pretty well. You can hold down with this tank insanely well, and it's got really good DPM, and it's mobile. It has 16.38 specific power, and it does 650, and it does 50 almost everywhere. I mean, it goes uphill pretty slow, but on flat ground, you will hit 50 kilometers an hour. So it's a very good tank. Again, 340 heat ammunition again is very nice for penetrating those mouses and Type 5s. It's very reliable against those tanks. And again, it's not that accurate. It's not that inaccurate, so you can actually hit those shots. Unlike the TVD-7 Heavy, which means you have to aim a little bit more and expose yourself. But this tank can get the job done. So that's pretty much what the heavy tank review. Let's move on to some mouse gameplay. So I'm gonna start the replay here. Pushing across the field on Malinowska. Obviously, spotting for my team is really good here. So this is basically how I like to play the Moss. I never camp in this tank. I always will try to push forward, regardless of what the situation. And I weighed my options in this battle, and I thought, okay, well, most of the time I'm probably not going to be able to get to the hill in a reasonable amount of time. So the game's probably going to be over before I get there. So I decided just to push the field, and I took half my HP in damage, which isn't necessarily that bad. But I did block 8100 in the first 3 minutes, which is pretty impressive. So this is basically how the Moss just is able to dominate teams. Is that it's if you angle it correctly and you play the Moss in a very aggressive manner, people just don't understand how to counter it. So basically, I'm forcing the enemy team to make a rotation to try to kill me, because this position is really strong, because I'm able to light from my tank destroyers in the back. So I'm pushing forward again, obviously playing really aggressive in the Moss. Always trying to keep my turret angled. Poking on this STI. Make a really bad shot there. Seeing that he switched to heat rounds, so now I have to angle my turret better, but I know that my reload's better than his. Or I think my reload's about the same. Get a really unlucky pen roll on that turret there, but. And another trick you can do with the Moss to try to make people bounce is just drive at them. A moving target is always harder to hit than a stationary one. That's why you always want to move back and forth when you're playing these super heavy tanks. Generally giving the enemy team just a non-moving slab of tank to shoot is very bad. If you're moving, it's really hard to hit targets here. So the Moss is coming in here. So I decided to put one shot in the STI instead of shooting the Moss, because I feel like if I can just knock the gun out, it'll be easier for me to deal with these threats. So again, compensating for the lead on the moving target there to shoot this turret. So I'm hiding my lower plate with the Moss's hole so that STI doesn't have anything to shoot. And I get a nice rifle shot into him, keep my turret angled here. This is about the proper angle, by the way. This is the angle right here that you want to keep your Moss at. And then I'm going to use the upper plate pen shot there to kill him. So if you're looking at a Moss frontally like this and you're face hugging him, the places that you can pen are obviously you can pen this strip on the turret right here. It's like, I think it's like this area like this. You can pen, or obviously on the other side as well. If you're face hugging him and he's flat to you, then you can pen the upper plate like I did there. Like if you can see that pen rate, you can pen right there, like this strip on the top of the plate. The way you counter that is what I'm doing right now is you angle your tank like this to, obviously not give them a shot at that. So that's pretty much it. And then I get some assistance from my T-20 prototype, and the mouse goes down.
Whoa, guys.
Coming up to the next part here. Killed a T-25E5 or T-26E5. Another STI in their base. Moss is really slow, so cutting this down will be good. Take the STI out. And one of the things about the Moss is that its gun is really accurate, and if you ever, I would really highly recommend running a vert stab on the tank over the vents, because this tank's gun, when it's with a vert stab and food and brothers in arms and stuff like that, is a very good gun. It's very well stabilized. It feels really, really good. It feels good to play. A lot of the tanks like the IS-7 and the 50B, their guns kind of feel weird, especially the TVD-7 Heavy. The guns feel bad because it just aims really long, and they have really bad turret traverse accuracy. But the Moss does not suffer from these problems. The Moss has very, very, very good accuracy while moving.
Whoa, guys.
You can see like how well the turret is, or how well the gun stabilizes when you move your turret. I do not know how that shot missed, by the way. That shot won't. So at this point in the replay, I'm using the Bulldog as a hold down cover. So I know that the Jagdpanzer 100 could be on the A line. So I'm using the Bulldog to hide my lower plate to make my target silhouette a lot smaller, so that they only have a very small amount of, a very slim shot at my tank. It's only on the turret, which is what you want, obviously. Also, this provides me cover from artillery, because if artillery hits a dead wreck, it basically absorbs the damage. So I'll take nothing from this arty. Obviously, he's right in front of me, which is why I'm pushing the wreck that way. I think I'm going to over-angle my turret here, so the STRV is able to pen my side. Yep, there he goes. But he'll soon be cleaned up by the Foch 155. Batchat basically has no chance of penning me at this range. Basically 0. And at this point, I decided to go try to get 10k damage, so I push off the cap. I'm going to pick it up here again, Type 4 Heavy, coming up to this hill top thing. Aim for the flat part of his turret. Easily shoot through his upper front turret face like that. And the Jagdpanzer is going to come here. He's stunned, so he's got reduced view range, so he's not going to be able to light me. I look for the lower plate, but I just go for the superstructure. It's a pretty iffy shot, but I do get the high pen roll and the high damage roll. And that's pretty much it. So if you ever want to know how to play a Moss, basically you just push forward, you keep your armor angled, and you do damage when you can. Most of the time, trading HP 1 for 1 is what you want to do against any other tank besides a Moss. When you're in a 1v1 versus a Moss, it's always good to try to bait the enemy out before you try to shoot them. So, but in most other times, you as the mouse player will outtrade any other heavy tank in this game. So, if you're getting, you can pretty much bully them all, except for like the Type 5 and Moss. You pretty much can bully any other tank. So, hope you guys enjoyed and give you a little bit of insight into how to play heavy tanks and what to run on the heavy tanks. And that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed.